A warm welcome to you and thanks so much for joining us on the news. My name is Bukola Agbakiso. On the news, FG ASU resumed meeting ends in deadlock. Bond seeks Nigerian Army's cooperation to stem fake news tide. Contrast weather conditions hit US, Australia. When you think positive, good things happen. Now the news in full. The federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities have again failed to reach a compromise to end the ongoing strike by the university lecturers. Senator Chris Ngige, Minister of Labour and Employment, while addressing newsmen after a closed-door meeting with the union in Abuja, said the meeting was protracted. He said it is already halfway as all grey areas have been trashed out and the issue of 50 billion naira has been offered earlier. Professor Biodun Ogunyemi, ASU president, said the meeting had been adjourned to February 7. Governor Ibikunle Amosun of Ogun State has celebrated his blood brother Alhaji Abidoye Amosun on his 71st birthday, which falls on February 1st of every year. Governor Amosun was in Alhaji Abidoye's house early Friday morning to rejoice with him and wish him well.
It's always to wish him well, to say happy birthday to him. Anytime that I have my birthday like this, I know exactly a week's time he must have his own. And we wish him all that he wished for himself. We wish him many, many happy returns of the day. And we thank God for his life, just like the prayers that has been offered this morning. We pray that the Almighty Allah will continue to be with him, strengthen him, prosper him, and he will live to very, very ripe age in good health. So that's our prayer for him. So congratulations to him. We wish him many happy returns of the day.
So in his house is the Allied People's Movement governorship candidate in the state, Honorable Adekunle Abdulkabir Akinlade.
I would just say he's a father, like I said. Just wish him the very best. Almighty Allah has been kind to him, his children, to him, to favor him so much. I just want to wish that Almighty Allah will continue to guide him, strengthen him, and afford him good health. Because I think that's what matters most. I thank God for his.
The celebrant thanked God for the visit and prayed for more years on earth.
To have a long life with good health and very good things of life.
How do you see the governor's visit this early morning?
Normally, this is not the first time. Each year I'm celebrating my birthday. He will come in the morning, pray for me, then we shall, the visitors, joke with them, and which is normal, as he used to do on yearly basis. So this one to this year is not a surprise, but I wish him more of that with a better position.
Towards ensuring that credible candidates are voted for in the forthcoming general elections, the Nigeria Union of Journalists Ogun State Council has commenced its political debate tagged Ogun NUJ Political Debate. Candidates of 3 political parties contesting the House of Representatives and Senate in the Ogun Central Senatorial District featured on the debate aimed at educating the electorate. Kunle Ibikunle's report is presented in this package.
All candidates that participated in the Ogun NUJ political debate are Honorable Segun Williams, Labour Party, Honorable Abdulsaber Shino Aroyeun, Labour Party, Barrister Kehinde Shomoye, Accord Party, and Apostle Biodun Sonyaolu of the People's Democratic Party. In their separate remarks, the chairman, Nigeria Union of Journalists, Ogun State Council, Comrade Wole Shokunbi, and the chairman, Planning Committee 2019 NUJ Political Debate, Comrade Lanre Ogunyinka, say it is a critical process to assist electorate to have informed opinion on candidates to be voted for.
It's just to create a platform for our candidates, those who are going to be our leaders, to tell us what they have for the generality of the masses, so that people can be able to ask questions from them, and then to know those that we think that have that quality that can represent our people.
When representatives of stakeholders in the society are brought together as members of the audience, thereby bringing the candidates to come forward and present their manifesto, is a kind of robust debate that will go a million miles to help us in the following ways. One, it will reduce tension. It will help the stakeholders, the electorates particularly, to know the programs and activities that are lined up for them by these candidates.
Reeling out their programs for the electorate, Barrister Kehinde Shomoye, Honorable Segun Williams, and Honorable Abdusabir Shino Aroyeun, as well as Apostle Biodun Sonyaolu, promised good representation.
Declare the winner. Before I even go to Abuja, I will empanel a monitoring committee that will monitor all projects in Abeokuta.
Educational enhancement schemes, sponsorships of work and NECO examinations, job opportunities in government agencies and private establishments, social security schemes, that is employment for elders and septuagenarians.
I'm going to give scholarship to studying and understanding pupils from secondary to higher institution.
I'm going to represent the people, and therefore I must be accountable to them.
They, however, enjoined eligible voters to collect their permanent voter cards and vote wisely.
The U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Chwachisimintena, said his country had concerns about Nigeria's democracy. Simintena stated this when he visited the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Mohammed Adamu, in Abuja. He said that the U.S. was aware of the security challenges confronting Nigeria and the efforts of the police to tackle them. The envoy, however, said he was optimistic that the right things were being done to ensure that peace and security reign in the country. Responding, the IG said that the police under his watch was tackling the security challenges in parts of the country. Adamu called for further assistance from the U.S. in the area of technology to further enhance operational capacity of the force. Ogun State Governor Senator Ibikunle Amosun and his Oyo State counterpart, Senator Abiola Ajimobi, have joined the family of Popoola to bid the matriarch Mama Mariam Oyegbenle Popoola farewell as she was buried, delivering a sermon at the funeral service held for the deceased at Union Baptist Church, Ikotedo, Ibadan. The resident pastor, Reverend Jonathan Babalola, reminded people to see death as inevitable, urging them to live a righteous and meaningful life during their lifetime, while extolling the virtues of Mama Mariam Popoola, especially a commitment to the service of God, her family and church. Described her as a being whose simplicity was enjoyed by many. In her remarks, Senator Ibikunle Amosun, who was represented by his deputy, Chief Mrs. Yetunde Ononuga, thanked God for the life well spent and enjoined all to emulate her ways.
For the many legacies she left behind, Mama indeed will be greatly missed, and I'm sure the children will also miss her. Today, Mama has gone, but we will continue to remember all the good works she has done. So we, on behalf of the government and the good people of Ogun State, I wish that the soul of Mama continue to rest in perfect peace.
Mama Mariam Oyegbenle Popoola, who was the mother of former military administrator in Ogun State, General Oladayo Popoola, was also bid farewell by former military leaders and past civilian governors in Ogun and Oyo states. To gain eternity in life after death, all mortals have been admonished to always spend each day as if it is their last, having it in mind that all these on earth will be judged by God after death. Alhaji Muhyiddin Salahuddin gave the admonition at the Fidao for Alhaja Ashiawu Shubola Bello, held at Offa in Kwara State. Charity James reports that the wife of Ogun State Governor, Dr. Mrs. Olufunsho Amosun, was also there to honor the family of the Bello. A report.
In life, there are stages that naturally come whether it is sought for or not. One of such stages in one's life is a time of death. Alhaja Alake Bello, having lived 118 years, was celebrated by our children at the 8th day Fidao, thanking Allah for outliving their mother, popularly called Iya Eleko. The chief imam of Alhaji Muhyiddin Salahuddin, in his admonition, advised Muslims to always take Allah as their ultimate in all situations.
Every Friday, until God was me lying in a talo canera what you mama. Boy, I'm not telling you, Allah. And you know what I say, Balawa is so kale. Oh my, Lumio Nero. Allah. Omatati be your dafun, and him alone agree. Tomabati, quiet in on your swing. Tabati no be where there was a kidima yepa jemailano. Allah.
As a friend to the family of Dr. Razak and Mrs. Foluke Bello, the wife of Ogun State Governor Dr. Mrs. Olufunsho Amosun was also part of the celebration of life for Alhaja Alake Bello. Guests were treated to a reception where friends and family members wined and dined, wishing Iya Eleko a restful sojourn to the great beyond. Charity James, Ogtv News.
The remains of Mrs. Felicia Murola Fajobi have been laid to rest with a charge on Christians to always live their lives for the service of God and mankind. The charge was given at a funeral service for the deceased held at the Christ Gospel Witness Church International Headquarters of Obiolawe, Abeokuta, Ogun State. Elizabeth Eson completes the report.
An inevitable end of all mortals is a debt that all must pay at the appointed time. The governor of Ogun State, Senator Ibikunle Amosun, who was represented by the Speaker, State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Suraj Ishola Adekunbi, commends the good life lived by the deceased, which was evident in the lives of our children.
We are here to celebrate Mama, and we are happy that Mama left behind children that are worthy of appreciation.
The remains of Mrs. Felicia Murola Fajobi were thereafter committed to Mother Earth, where the dust-to-dust rites were performed. A Christian wake had earlier been held, where the good virtues of the deceased were eulogized by children and dignitaries.
We are celebrating a life so well lived. We are celebrating a life spent entirely in the service of God. And we are celebrating a life that ran its full course.
That's actually been very generous. And you can actually see from the behavior of our children.
Some of the children, in-laws, and grandchildren of the deceased say they will miss their mother.
Mama was hardworking and she made sure that she instilled those into her children and even onto us, the grandchildren.
She's a very quiet woman, very tolerant, very prayerful.
We all had encounter with God and we are serving God. That aspect I will not lose. I will hold on to serving God all the days of my life.
She is an example, an embodiment of someone with a lot of patience.
Working and I wish I could take after her because she was so accommodating and everybody loves her.
Guests were later entertained at the banquet hall of the Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta. Elizabeth Esson, Ogtv News.
Still in the news, arraignment of former DG NIA fails to hold. There'll be more news after the break.
I will vote for him. You will vote for him. He has done it all. He has seen it all. Make we vote for him to be senator. We will vote for him. We will vote for him. He has promised. Oh yes, he has kept it. Central for the senator.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, káwí bẹ́ẹ̀ ká ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìyá ọmọlúwàbí kí gómìnà wa sẹ́nitọ̀ Ìbíkúnlé Amósùn tó di gómìnà. Ó ṣèlérí wípé òun yóò sọ ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn di ààyò gbogbo ìpínlẹ̀ tó kù ní Nàìjíríà. Ẹ wulẹ̀ kẹ́ ẹ wẹnu ọkọ́. Ẹ ti wá rí wípé ó wí bẹ́ẹ̀ ó sì ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Àkókò ti wá tó láti tì í lẹ́yìn pẹ̀lú gbogbo ìbò wa ní Ògùn Central Senatorial District lọ sí ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin àgbà Senate ní 2019 lábẹ́ àsíyà All Progressives Congress APC láti Abẹ́òkúta South lọ sí Abẹ́òkúta North Ọ̀dẹ́dá Ifọ̀ àtẹwékòrò. Ẹ dìde kájọ dìbò fún Ìbíkúnlé Amósùn gẹ́gẹ́ bí sẹ́nitọ̀ kí iṣẹ́ rere ó lè tẹ̀síwájú ní Ògùn Central Senatorial District. Ẹ dìbò fún ààrẹ Muhammadu Buhari. APC next level.
In the strength, yeah, that comes from the hard knocks that life throws at us. And we Nigerians, we know all about that. You don't stay down, you get up and fight. Sure, it's about speed, technique, quality of the punches, reach. But the real fight is with myself.
It's the power, but it's the speed as well.
But I can't carry this heavyweight title by myself. There's always got to be someone in my corner. And that's why I believe in Glow. We have that same tenacity, that Nigerian fighting spirit that makes us game changers. You have to dig deep to be a world champion. Yeah, we Nigerians, yeah, we know all about that. Glow, our halo.
Heavyweight champion of the world.
Glad to have you back. The news continues. February 1 marks the World Hijab Day, a day which is celebrated across the globe to dismantle the prejudices that come with hijab. To this end, Muslim women have been admonished to use the day to build bridges of understanding, create awareness and educate the public on the essence of the use of hijab. Shemilori Amore has the details.
World Hijab Day is a day initiated in 2013 to encourage women of all backgrounds to wear the hijab in support of Muslim women, with a mission to fight discrimination against Muslim women, as Islam also places importance on the use with defined laws about hijab.
There is a command from Allah to all Muslim women. There is not a means of oppression or terrorism, but it is honor for the Muslim women. It symbolizes honor and obedience and a means of chastity for women to protect herself, her beauty for the public, to cover her beauty for the public. Is nothing more.
The use of hijab is an obligation, is a directive of Almighty God to female Muslims. In Quran chapter 24 verse 31, Quran chapter 33 verse 59 and some other verses of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated it there that a female Muslim should dress, putting on her hijab anytime she wants to go out. so that she does not reveal her adornments, she does not reveal her nudity. She will be identified, respected, and honored as a believer.
Muslim faithful say creating awareness and educating people is a much needed move to address current global situation.
People may indulge in crimes under the coverage of hijab, but in Allah's book, in Allah's word, it is a means of protection to protect our beauty, which is mainly for our husband alone, and a duty from Allah. So in everywhere in the world where we observe the believe in Allah, you have as a Muslim woman to cover up your body.
It's just a means of chastity, a means of identification, and a means to show you that I'm ready to coexist with you peacefully. And at the same time, to always boost the morale of other people that are putting on hijab but that are still feeling intimidated in a way, putting it on. So, but the moment they see a lot of people coming out to say, I have my hijab on, I have my hijab on, it boosts their confidence and they know they are not alone in it.
Through the annual celebration, women were encouraged to voice their choices and uphold their faith, thus dispelling common misconceptions about the use of hijab. Shemilori Amore, Ogtv News.
The Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria (BON) has pledged to celebrate with the Nigerian Army in sensitizing Nigerians on the effect of fake news and hate speech in the forthcoming 2019 general elections. The acting chairman of the organization, Cyril Godfrey Ohuabua, said this while on a courtesy visit to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, at the Army headquarters in Abuja. The chairman lauded the Nigerian Army for the successes recorded in the ongoing counter-terrorism operations in the Northeast and other internal security exercises in other parts of the country, promising to change the narratives and information gathering and the dissemination to protect the citizens from misinformation.
At this time of the election, the Broadcast Organization of Nigeria believes very strongly that we can partner with the Army in terms of information dissemination, in terms of passing the right information at the right time. We are aware of the issue of fake news. Fake news is because there's a gap and there's no true information. Everybody believes it.
The Nigerian Army will work very closely with the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria to ensure that we get the right information and we liaise with you to ensure that fake news are dealt with, and we also collaborate with all the other security agencies.
Ahead of the 2019 general elections, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has held a meeting with air officers commanding and commanders of Nigeria Air Force units across the country on their responsibilities during the elections. The Chief of Air Staff reminded the officers that the only role expected of them is to ensure security during the polls. In a statement by Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commander Ibikunle Daramola, the Chief of Air Staff noted that synergy must be achieved with the aid agency, Nigeria Police, along others, which include Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Nigerian Immigration Service, and other civil security agencies. Air Marshal Abubakar noted that it was critical that all NAF personnel operate within the ambit of the Constitution and Code of Conduct promulgated by Defense Headquarters for members of the armed forces during elections. He stressed that personnel must remain apolitical and sternly resist any entreaties by unscrupulous politicians to get them involved in partisan politics. The highlight of the meeting was the presentation of booklets on Code of Conduct to the officers in attendance. In the past decades, children's rights have attracted special attention from social workers due to the adoption of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. In this special report, Adebola Oshomoji takes a look at some policies that have been introduced to implement children's rights in the country.
Child protection system is the system of laws, policies, regulations and services needed across all sectors, especially social welfare, education, health, security and justice, so as to support prevention and response to protection-related issues.
Social welfare is a very broad one, and part of which, if you are unable to take care of your child, the government can take it away from you. The director of welfare is the one responsible or saddled with that duty to ensure that the right of a child is protected and in line with the Child Rights Act 2003.
In contrast to the attention given to the children's rights framework in social work, the relationship between social work practices and children's rights education received very little attention, despite some landmark initiatives from the mid-1990s, when children's and human rights education were placed on the international agenda.
While according to the Child Rights Act, a child is regarded as somebody who is less than 21 years. And a parent should not, by the virtue of being the guardian or custodian of such child, say that it will abuse such child in whatever nature or under whatever guise.
When we have cases of child abuse, child neglect, when a child is not being given the proper upbringing by their parents, it is the role of social worker to intervene in such cases. And what are we saying? The rights of children, the children, they have the right to protection, they have the right to participation, they have the right to development, and the right to survival.
In some cases where both parents are separated, custodian of a child or children is mostly determined by the court or social welfare office.
The law that protects a child where the parent, they have divorced, and the child who should take care of the person, of course we know that it has to be the father, is the one to pay for the school fees, is the one to do all of that. And if he's not complying, a woman has the right to go to the welfare, report the man. If the man fails in his responsibility, then he can be charged before a magistrate court.
When the case of neglect is being instituted in our office by the mother of the children, then the subject father, we refer to them as subject father, will now be invited by the social worker for a joint session where the mother and the father of the children will be seated, and the subject mother will relay all the complaints lodged at the initial stage.
If children's rights are to be considered as a key frame of reference in social work, then social practice in which children are involved should not be at stake. Adebola Oshomoji, Ogtv News.
The planned arraignment of the former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, IOK, and his wife, Folake, was forestalled at the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos because the former Director General and his wife failed to show up in court. Report says that the EFCC counsel, Rotimi Oyedepo, was in court. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has slammed a 4-count charge of alleged $205 million fraud on the former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ayoke, and his wife, Folashade Oke. The charge is coming after Oke was suspended from office and his agency laid claim to the funds recovered by the EFCC from Flat 7B, number 16, Osborne Road, Osborne Towers, Ikoyi, Lagos. Folake Oke was alleged to have used more than $1 million, money belonging to the federal government, to acquire Flat 7B, number 16, Osborne Towers, Ikoyi, Lagos, which is reasonably ought to have known formed part of proceeds of unlawful act. EFCC has slated the 1st of February for the arraignment of the former National Intelligence Agency director and his wife, having filed the charges before Justice Chukwu Anekwe of the Federal High Court. Surprisingly, when the EFCC's counsel, Rotimi Oyedepo, appeared in court for the arraignment, the matter was neither listed. He offered explanation as to why both failed to appear in court for arraignment. But there are indications that the former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Oke, and his wife, Folashade, may have left the country as no date has been fixed for the arraignment. Each person's signature is unique and authentic, but apart from being a tool for assuring legal validity of documents, signature can also reveal a lot more about a person than it may realize. In this report, legal practitioners opine that all and sundry should guide their signatures jealously and never be in a hurry to sign any document. Idowu Fabajo reports.
According to signature analysis experts, a signature says a lot about a personality, and you can know a lot about a person depending on the way he or she signs his or her name on a piece of paper. How important is signature in human endeavor?
Immediately you appendize your signature, it has already become an authentic document which was signed by that person that appendized his signature. Whether the document is not tendered for future references, that person will be in position to answer to that call. Say, okay, I'm the one responsible for that signature you seen appendized on that the document that they tender.
So once you are known with your signature, that's your identity. Anywhere they see your signature, they know that you lend your voice to the document upon which you append your signature. So you must be very careful where you append your signature, because it can make or mar you.
Going through any document thoroughly before signing is essential, according to legal practitioners.
If you append your signature on a document and it turns out that a fraud or an offense is committed based on the content of that document, you'll be liable, you'll be held responsible. So you don't just sign your signature indiscriminately.
And that event is even advisable for any person before he appendize his signature to peruse the document very well. The document may contain some certain things which needed to be erased before he can appendize his signature. So in the future reference, if that thing comes out it backfires, it means that person that appendized his signature without thorough perusal, it has already handcuffed himself without even police handcuff.
Signature is a symbol of your identity, and it is the mark that you use to represent yourself to the world. Hence, the need to be conscious on how it should be used. Idowu Fabajo, Ogtv News.
Suspected herdsmen have shot dead an assistant superintendent of police ASP at Umuachia for community in Doko East local government area of Delta State. It was learned that the police officer, who until his death was attached to the Ashaka Police Divisional Headquarters, has led a team of police officers in search of the herdsmen who had been terrorizing the area with kidnapping activities when he met with untimely death on Thursday. Police Public Relations Officer of the State Command, Mr. Andrew Aniamaka, while confirming the incident, said someone was abducted and that took their men into the bush in search of the hoodlums. On their way, they were ambushed by the armed herdsmen, who in fact opened fire on the police rescue team. In the process, the ASP was hit by bullets. Aniamaka, however, refused to disclose the identity of the deceased police officer, saying his family is not yet aware of the development. He said the officer died in the hospital where he was rushed to for treatment. According to him, there is reinforcement into the bush and they are getting support from local vigilante team.